So in this video we'll be discussing the nomenclature of nucleotides, and this is a follow-on from the previous video. So if we have the base by itself, that would be called a nucleobase, and an example of that would be uracil, thymine, adenine, guanine, or cytosine. And then if we have a nucleobase with a sugar, we have a nucleoside, and the easiest way of remembering that is we definitely need a nucleobase, and the word nucleoside has an S in it, and so does the word sugar. So that's the easiest way of remembering what nucleoside consists of. And finally, if we have a nucleoside with a phosphate, we have a nucleotide, and that's what really makes a nucleotide. And nucleic acids are polynucleotides, and if you have loads of nucleotides together, that would eventually form a nucleic acid. And the name of the molecule is usually after the base. So if we have an adenine base, the part of the name would be adenosine, because it's the base that takes part of the name. And we can also have 1, 2, or 3 phosphate groups, as we discussed in the last video. And we can also have ribose or 2-deoxyribose sugar on the 2' carbon of the sugar, and that also takes part in the name of the nucleotide. We'll look at a few examples now just to make sure that it makes sense, and it really starts to make sense after we've done a few examples. So what do you think the name of the nucleotide numbered 1 would be? Just pause the video and have a think. So we can see that the name of the nucleobase is adenine. We have a ribose sugar at the 2' carbon, and it also has 3 phosphate groups. And remember that the name of the nucleotide is after the base, and the base is adenine, so the name part of the name will be adenosine. And we have 3 phosphate groups, so triphosphate, and putting all of that together we get adenosine triphosphate. And adenosine triphosphate is an example of a multiphosphorylated nucleotide. Now moving on to number 2, what do you think the answer to number 2 is? So you can see that there is a guanine nucleobase, a deoxy sugar, and we also have 3 phosphate groups, and putting all of that together we get deoxy guanosine triphosphate. And as for number 3, we have a guanine as the base. We still have the sugar and 3 phosphate groups, and putting all that together we get guanine triphosphate. And it's worth keeping in mind that ATP can be dephosphorylated into AMP, which releases energy, and this is why ATP is so important in energy metabolism. It's also important if you think about the polymerization of molecules, because if you want to polymerize molecules or macromolecules, you need energy, and by using ATP and really hydrolyzing it, you can produce the energy you need to make essential molecules. And ATP can be converted to the monophosphate via dephosphorylation, and again that will release energy. And the more phosphates a molecule has, the more energy it has in it, and you can transfer energy directly into AMP and release something called pyrophosphate. And it's really worth keeping in mind that the more phosphates there are, the more energy there is in the molecule, and ATP is a really powerful molecule to transfer energy from one place to another. And that's the end of this video, and I've also included a mind map, and I hope that really helps you with your revision, and hope you like, share and subscribe.